I was approached by Mr. Gillette, and we had several conversations about bringing the Fentanyl Fathers in today. And it's been a little while, but I am very, very happy and pleased that they're here with us today. And I know this message is going to resonate with you. And without any further ado, I'd like to pass the microphone to Greg from Fentanyl Fathers.
Thanks so much for having us. You guys are heroes for having us in. My name's Greg. I'm a Detroiter. I come up here a lot for Pine Knob music concerts. And I'm here on a sad mission today. I lost my son to this. And not only me, but as Michael Gillette, he lost his son. Robert Kiesling here lost both his sons. And Robert Branner here lost his daughter, Destiny. So we've taken some major incoming hits here, and our whole purpose is to make sure it doesn't happen to you and your parents. Just a quick show of hands, how many people know somebody, maybe a distant relative, who died from fentanyl poisoning? Maybe about 40 hands. Maybe. Wow, I'm really sorry for your losses. I'm going to turn this over to Mike Gillette. We kind of whipped through this presentation. We have the Detroit News here. We're thrilled to have them. And it ends in 45 minutes. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mike Gillette. Thank you.
So I always start the presentation the same way. You're going to roll your eyes. You're going to say, okay, boomer, I get it. But I truly believe that this could be the most important 45 minutes of your school year. And I hope at the end of it that you agree with me. So I'm going to guess, I should have done my homework, but I'm guessing there's 400 students in this room. That's probably a good estimate.
Probably about 1,000.
That's what I said, if there's 1,000 students here. So what I want to do is share another number with you. It's a big number, and that number would wipe out everybody in this room in less than a week, so I want you to think about that. My name is Michael Gillette, and on January 27th, 2022, my wife and I found my oldest son, Brian, dead on his bedroom floor. Brian died of fentanyl poisoning. This is not unique to my family. It's not unique to Robert's family, the other Robert's family, Greg's family. Fentanyl claims over 80,000 lives a year. And this age group right here, sitting in this room, you are the one age group that is being impacted the most by this drug. So don't think that this is something that is not going to cross your path. One thing I've learned from all the parents I've met who lost a child to fentanyl is awareness is our number one weapon. We need to bring awareness to you. If my son had had the awareness about fentanyl that we're going to share with you today, he may be here today, and I wouldn't be here, but that's not the case. So who are we? We are a group of bereaved parents. Each one of us has lost a child to fentanyl poisoning. Each one of us is living the pain of continuing without that child. Why do we do this? Simple. I lost my son to fentanyl. But more importantly, it's for you. It's to make sure that you have awareness. It's to make sure that you understand the dangers and to make sure that you don't fall victim to this drug. So let's get started.
My name is Dominic Tierno. Since I graduated high school in 2014, I've had the great honor of directing a number of documentary films about drugs and drug addiction. Our mission is to revolutionize drug education by telling real-life stories that motivate young people to make one of the most important decisions of their life, and that's the decision to not use drugs. 2020 was the worst year for drug overdose deaths that we have ever seen. In the beginning of summer in 2020, I came across this article. A 14-year-old kid from a town I grew up in had died from what appeared to be a drug overdose. He's a smart, funny guy who, like many kids, was struggling with some anxiety issues and decided that he would turn to drugs to see if he could help himself with that. What happened was he went and bought this pill, this Oxycontin pill, from a guy he had known, because he thought that pill might ease the pain of what he was going through mentally. Well, he didn't know it, but that Oxycontin pill wasn't a real Oxycontin pill. It was a fake pill. It looked just like the pill that he wanted to try, but instead of Oxycontin, it was made with fentanyl, a synthetic opioid known to be 50 to 100 times the strength of morphine. That one pill he took that night killed him almost instantly, and his mom found him dead in his bedroom the next morning. Before I can even finish that article, I'm scrolling through and I see another linked article. Not far away, around the same time, another 14-year-old dead from fentanyl. So then I go back to Google and I type in fentanyl deaths. I hit search, and then it all made sense. I saw another killer, and I saw high school students, college students, young adults, all recent, all over the country, all dead from fentanyl. And so I'm looking at that and I'm saying, these aren't just normal overdose deaths. These people think they're taking one drug, and turns out they're being killed. Why have we not heard about this?
First time I heard about fentanyl was my sister busting in my house being like, don't touch anything in his room, it's fentanyl. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I have no idea what's going on. So most people haven't heard of this because we haven't been talking about it. Back in 2013, when it first started showing up, only about 3% of drug users were dying from it. Now we're looking at over 50% of drug deaths being attributed to fentanyl. If Alexander could have got a lesson, I wish he knew about fentanyl. I wish he understood that fentanyl poisoning is real, and that every time you try something, you're playing with your life. It is pill roulette every time you try it. As a mom of a kid that was just trying to experiment, that's where it is. As a mom of a kid that died just wanting to experiment, I wish I could just shake you and tell you and make it real for you. But I don't know how to do that. I won't be there when you're faced with these decisions. I know that if he knew the effects of his passing, it would crush him. He never intended for me to find him on his bedroom floor. He never intended for his dad to administer CPR trying to save his life while we were waiting for the paramedics. Even his 12-year-old sister wanted to run in there and try to help do CPR, but I held her back. Alex didn't intend for me to see him wheeled away on a stretcher and put into an ambulance. Alex had no intentions of me seeing him lying on a stainless steel table covered with a sheet with only his head showing. Alex had no intentions of me knowing what it felt like to kiss his face for the last time. The images that I'm left with of that day replay in my mind on a regular basis. Please do not put your family through this. And please, 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 I beg of you, learn about fentanyl now. you can be a very important part of saving lives.
This would be how much cocaine somebody would have to ingest to kill them. This is the approximate number of prescription pills one would have to ingest to kill them. This is the amount of heroin the average person would have to ingest to kill them. Fentanyl. You had to bring that camera up here real close to see it. This much fentanyl would kill you and I if we split it. 4 years ago, DEA in Arizona seized 0 fentanyl. This last year, we seized enough fentanyl to kill 70 million people. You're playing Russian roulette out there when you're taking these pills and you're buying this stuff off the street.
Social media has completely changed the landscape of the drug trade. Most people start by searching for what they think are prescription medications, and drug dealers respond saying that's what they have. But what you have to be careful about is what you're asking for and what you get can be 2 different things. And if you're buying the stuff from somebody online, their bottom line is they're just looking to make a quick buck. They don't have your best interest in mind. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Unless you're getting these drugs from your doctor or a licensed pharmacy in a bottle that has your name on it, you may as well assume these drugs are fake. You're not getting the real thing. Fentanyl is literally taken over the drug market. It's in everything. It's in meth, it's in cocaine, obviously the counterfeit pills that are out there. We're starting to see it showing up now in marijuana. The people who make this stuff, who are putting the fentanyl and everything, they have one goal: to get you hooked. Fentanyl is highly, highly addictive. They're going to trick you into thinking you're getting something you're not, to take you down that rabbit hole, to get you hooked on fentanyl and have you become an addict. Because to them, you're a customer, and you'll be a returning customer at that point. One of those times, you're going to get enough fentanyl to kill you. Alex was in her bedroom at night, getting ready for bed. She went on social media in search of oxycodone. It wasn't hard for her to find a drug dealer, and she had what she thought was oxycodone delivered to our house. One pill had enough fentanyl to kill 5 people. My daughter took half of this pill and died instantly. In an instant, my life was changed forever. My last memory of my daughter is of her being wheeled out on a gurney. I saw my daughter brought into this world, and I saw her leave this world. I have 4 daughters, a beautiful wife. Every time we take a family picture, I don't see who's there, I see who's missing. It's an odd feeling to looking forward to dying, because you know that's when your heart will be made whole again. Alex would have never wanted this. Don't do it to your parents.
It's the end of the world at the palm of my hand. If you can't come with me, I'll understand.
You have a choice, because it is between life or death. This is no joke. You can and will die. How do I know this? I can tell you that I've met thousands upon thousands upon thousands of parents nationwide. I wish somebody had sat me down and had this talk with me about what fentanyl does to people. I didn't get that chance. You do.
You know, there's always been one main problem with the films that we make, and it's the reason why we try to keep them as real and as relatable as possible. People just so commonly think that it will not happen to them. I'm talking about great people, nice people, cool people, intelligent people with big plans for the future, big potential. Gone because of one choice they didn't know would end their life. Fentanyl is coming for anyone and everyone. So the most important message that I can give to kids, to teens, young adults, anybody, is the same old message we've heard time and time again. And that's to really get serious about not even trying a drug. You see, back when we first started, I was telling kids not to use drugs because you might get hooked, you might get addicted. Now there's not even time for that. Now it's don't try a drug because you might actually not wake up tomorrow. You might actually not get another chance. One choice is all it takes. If you don't believe that, I guarantee you, at this point, there was someone very similar to you who wished they could be here right now to look into the camera and look into your eyes and say, don't do it. Please don't do it. Please, I wish I wouldn't have done it. Don't do it. Don't risk your life. So my question for you is, are you going to listen? Or will it be your family and your friends holding your picture, wishing they could have been there to tell you?
This is my son, Alexander. He died at 14 years old from fentanyl poisoning.
This is our daughter, Jessica. She was 29 years old when she was killed by fentanyl.
This is my daughter, Alex. She was murdered at 20 years old by a drug dealer who sold her a counterfeit pill made of fentanyl.
This is my son, Daniel Joseph Huerta Johnson, killed at the age of 16 by illicit fentanyl.
This is my son.
My name is Robert Kiesling, father of Caleb and Kyler Kiesling on the photos, as you see before you. Caleb and Kyler died on July 29th, year 2020. They went to Rochester Hills Adams High School. On the left, you'll see Caleb. He was the eldest, very super smart kid. You want him as your lab partner. Like rap music, played goalie freshman year in high school. Loved hanging out with his friends, had a girlfriend, like Louis Vuitton belts. His brother, Kyler, is 20 months his junior. They played together a lot of sports. They were really the best of friends. He had a real high emotional intelligence. He was not a good student. You wouldn't want him as your lab partner. But he was an incredible athlete. He excelled in wrestling and in soccer. And there you can see him in the Adams High School Adams, the Islander outfit. Normal kids, I think you could probably relate to him. We used to do wrestling meets here in Clarkston. Well, what happened? Well, on July 28th, Kyler finished his last school online so he could graduate. So on the day of his graduation, he got together with his brother and 3 other friends. They decided to celebrate, and they went out to a hotel in Auburn Hills. During that time, I thought they were going to be safe. I knew there might be they might have smoked a little something or had something, but I knew the car would be there. They wouldn't be going there. They'd be safe. I got a text from my son Kyler about 2 o'clock in the morning. We talked for a little bit. He seemed a little bothered. I wasn't sure. I said, no, we're going to meet up tomorrow. Let's meet up tomorrow, not tonight. It's 2 a.m. So the next day I was expecting a phone call. 12 noon comes by, no answer. 2 p.m., no answer. I'm like, what's going on? At 5:30, I get the call. Are you Mr. Kiesling? Yes, I am. This is Officer so-and-so, and I'm at the hotel, and I believe you're the father of Caleb and Cotton. You need to come down to the hotel. I said, is there a problem? And he said, how fast can you get here? And I knew something very, very bad had happened. I arrived at the scene. There were 4 officer cars, lights were still on. The detective pulled me aside, and he said, I've seen this many times before. Your son shows all the signs of asphyxiation and death to fentanyl. And we found pills on the scene. Your son was lying in bed next to his girlfriend, who also passed. The other son was sitting in a chair with a joystick in his hand. The pills on the scene were counterfeit oxycontins. They were Percocets. Counterfeit Percocets. That's what they thought they were getting. That night I had to go home. I was in shock. But he had 3 younger sisters that I had to talk to. And let me tell you, there's nothing more difficult than looking in your daughter's eyes and tell them that their brothers had passed. My 13-year-old, my 15-year-old, and my 17-year-old daughters, and my boys' moms. Still tough today.
Good morning. My name is Robert Branner, and on April 30th, 2023, I received a phone call from my daughter Destiny's mom, stating that she wasn't breathing. Get to the hospital, I'm gonna find out Destiny passed away. She took half of a Percocet that was laced with fentanyl, and she died on the living room floor in front of her 2 children and her sister. Destiny had a dream a week before she passed away.
Go ahead, Robert, just tell him.
So Destiny and I, our birthdays was a week apart, so we will always celebrate our birthdays together. Now, on her birthday, this is where I have to go. So we want to encourage you guys, if it's not prescribed to you, do not take it. Because this is the end results if you do. Thank you.
Here, Robert.
Robert just nailed it. If it's not prescribed to you, that's how you know a pill is fake. That's the only way. This is Drew. I'm not going to go into all the things about Drew other than he was kind of a rock star in our family. He was ridiculous. He was a model. He's really smart, great athlete. And I got a call on April 3rd from the guy on the left there. He's sitting right here. His name is Jack. He's my other son. And he just said, Dad, are you sitting down? And it was 12:30 at night. I said, no, I'm sleeping. What's going on? He goes, I need you to be sitting down right now. And he sounded never like I've ever heard him. I sat up in bed and he said, Drew's dead. And that marked the before and after of my life. The message to not end up like Drew in I think the next slide, is don't take an unprescribed pill. Drew died from synthetic opioids, and it killed him dead. He took it. It was not prescribed to him from a roommate after they were looking for apartments. So that is the message today. This is a gal named Rain teaching you about opioids.
They can be dangerous. These controlled substances have very serious side effects, which include, but are not limited to, drowsiness, fatigue, dizziness, mental fog, and in very serious cases, death. But actually, not really in very serious cases, because even a small amount fentanyl can kill you, and it's very, very scary. And this is an epidemic killing millions of people in teens. It's a growing problem in the United States.
So obviously Rain, teaching freshmen about fentanyl, is doing well on fentanyl, right? Here's Rain 1 month later. That was on April 27th. This is May 27th. How did Rain die? Rain bought the lie. She took an unprescribed pill. Her last search on her phone was, what does a real Xanax look like versus the fake one that was in her hand? She thought it was real. She took it. She died. Her mom's the saddest person I know. She has changed the laws in Oklahoma. Go ahead, next slide. To mandate this type of awareness education in every high school. You can add up all the famous deaths in world history, from drunk driving, the 9/11 attack, COVID, childhood cancer, Vietnam, even global plane crashes. It ends up being less than who died in the previous year. This is the 900-pound gorilla. This is Michigan's #1 problem. 3,000 a year are dying. Go ahead, next slide. Famous people: Prince, Mac Miller, Angus Cloud. We're going to have a fundraising concert coming up. We believe Jackson Brown is going to participate in it. His son just died of fentanyl poisoning. I'm going to turn this over to Jonathan.
Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Maxgay. I work with the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities. We're a nonprofit based here in Oakland County. We do a lot of work with substance use, both prevention going into schools and then recovery support, working with individuals to help them find their own pathways into recovery. My goals for today: I'm going to educate you guys and raise awareness on the dangers of synthetic opioids, including fentanyl. We're going to learn how to administer nasal naloxone or Narcan. Who's heard of Narcan before? Show of hands. Love it. We're going to raise awareness about the potential dangers of consequences of substance use and connect you guys to important resources here in Oakland County. So why do we do it? Jumped a bunch of slides there, sorry. I like to talk about why I do it on the why do we do it slide. I'm having a little bit of trouble with this. I am a person in recovery from substance use disorder myself. I've walked down this road, and hopefully what I have to tell you today will help you to realize that you don't have to walk down it as well. I grew up in Rochester Hills. I actually graduated from Rochester Adams High School, just like Bob's children. And the feeling that I got growing up in Rochester Hills is that Rochester Hills was too good for a drug problem. That made it very difficult for me when I wanted to reach out for help. That stigma that I was faced with. We feel like the more presentations we do, the better we can reduce that stigma for folks like myself so they can reach out for help when they need it. We want to have naloxone more readily available. The fact of the matter is, more naloxone that is in the hands of the general public, the less fatal overdoses that happen. You can see the numbers right here. They continue to go up and up and up. Back in 1999, we lost less than 20,000 Americans to a drug overdose. And in 2022, we lost over 110,000. That's across any demographic you can name: age range, gender identity, racial identity, you name it. And then, like the video mentioned, this is one of the fastest growing age groups to lose their lives to overdose. 114% in overdoses between the ages of 10 to 19 from 2019 to 2021. 2/3 of those overdose deaths had a bystander present. That's someone in the same house as that person when they overdose. 35% of those overdoses had previous opioid use history. However, 90% of those overdoses were opioid related. And what that tells me is that a large majority of those overdose deaths were first-time users. A lot of those deaths are being caused by counterfeit pills. Counterfeit pills are being mass-produced by the criminal drug networks. They're easy to purchase, widely available. They often contain fentanyl or methamphetamine, and they're being bought and sold anywhere that people buy and sell things today. E-commerce, social media, you name it. Current testing out of the DEA lab reveals that 5 out of every 10 pills that contain fentanyl contain a potentially lethal dose. And for reference, that is a potentially lethal dose of fentanyl right there. That's about 2 milligrams. That is enough to kill somebody with no tolerance, myself included. This slide always blows my mind. The fact of the matter is today that the criminal drug networks have the exact same manufacturing equipment that the pharmaceutical companies have. If you're looking at 2 pills in your hand today and you don't know where they came from, there's no way to tell whether one is counterfeit or one is authentic. The only way to be sure is if you got it from a prescription bottle prescribed by a doctor that has your name on it. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine. The criminal drug networks are counterfeiting anything that they can sell, everything from Oxycontin, Percocet, Vicodin, Xanax, Adderall, and then fentanyl powder is also being found in today's street drug supply, your cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. We're going to talk a bit about the science behind an opioid overdose so that we can understand how naloxone works. So when a person takes a substance, that substance processed by their body, it gets into their bloodstream. The bloodstream takes it up into their brains, and in all of our brains we have these receptors. For opioids, we have the opioid receptor. When the opioid receptor, when it sees those opioids floating around in the bloodstream, wants to reach out and grab onto them. It holds on tight. That's what gives that person the feeling of being high. Now, during an overdose, too many of those receptors are holding onto opioids. And what happens is it stops the signals from the brain that tells the lungs to breathe. Now, when that same person has naloxone administered to them, opioid receptors, they're holding onto the opioids. When they see naloxone floating around, they like naloxone better than they like the opioids. So they kick all of the opioids off and they grab the naloxone instead. This completely reverses the effects of the overdose, the respiratory depression that person's feeling. Now, the important time to remember with naloxone is 30 to 90 minutes. That is how long the body takes to process naloxone. So we have seen cases where people have their overdose reversed with naloxone. The naloxone wears off, and then they can go back into overdose. It is very, very important that anybody who experiences an overdose visits a hospital afterwards, even if their overdose is reversed. Naloxone is effective. It works on any opiate, anytime. All the ones that we see up here on the screen. Everything from Percocet and Vicodin all the way up to heroin and fentanyl. It's important to note that naloxone only works on opiates. It does not work on benzos like Xanax. It does not work on alcohol or marijuana. It only works on opiates, but it works on every opiate every time. It can cause a sudden withdrawal, especially for people that regularly take opioids. However, naloxone is not psychoactive. There's no psychoactive effects. It is not addictive, and there will be no effect on the individual if an opiate is not present, which is great news, because if I find someone who's unconscious, I'm not an EMT, I didn't go to med school, I don't know what's going on with them, I can safely administer naloxone. If they're experiencing an overdose, the naloxone will work to reverse that overdose. If they have something else medical going on, heart attack, diabetic emergency, the naloxone will never make the situation worse. I could have naloxone administered to me right now and nothing would happen because I don't have any opiates in my system. It is a reversal agent of choice. It's commonly used by fire, EMS, law enforcement. We're going to talk a bit about signs and symptoms both of opioid use and of opioid overdose. It's important to talk about signs of use because if I see these in a friend or a loved one, I want to be that safe person that they can talk to, so these can open the door for a conversation. The number one telltale sign is that their pupils are going to contract and appear small. We'll look a little bit more at that on the next slide. But they're also going to be pretty out of it. They might be nodding out, falling asleep. Their speech might be slurred. And even though they're going to be pretty out of it, they will still respond if you try to engage with them, if you try to have a conversation. All of our pupils react to light. If I look at a bright light, my pupil's going to close up. And if I go into a dark room, my pupil's going to open wide. Substance use has an effect on this. So there in the middle, we can see someone who might have ingested some kind of stimulant, something like cocaine or Adderall. Same effect with LSD and mushrooms. And then there on the far right, we can see someone who might have ingested some opioids. Pupil's going to contract, really teeny tiny pinpoint. We were just talking about signs of use and how that person is going to be pretty out of it, but they will still respond to you if you try to talk to them. Overdose is when they are unresponsive. You cannot wake this person up. Their breathing is going to be shallow, slow, erratic. It might have stopped completely. They could be making strange noises like choking, gurgling, snoring. For lighter skinned folks, our skin tone is going to turn bluish purple in the thin skinned areas, places like underneath the fingernails and in the lips. And for darker skinned folks, it'll be grayish or ashen in those same places. We've got our 5 steps to save a life. It's super duper easy. Step number 1, we want to shake and shout. If I find someone unconscious, I'm going to try to wake them up. If I cannot wake them up, step number 2 is to call 911 every single time. And there's a lot of reasons for this. 911 is going to have more naloxone on hand. Calling 911 activates the Good Samaritan law. We've got about a 5-minute response time here in Oakland County for EMS, which is fantastic. I won't have to be performing life-saving measures for too long until EMS takes over, and every second counts. Step number 3, you're going to take your naloxone. It comes in a blister pack. It looks just like this. You can see the applicator up there on the screen. All you have to do is peel the back off of the blister pack. I like to hold the applicator between my pointer and my middle finger, just like so. It's right around the nozzle. That's that part up top. Thing underneath the nozzle, that's the plunger. To administer naloxone, all you have to do is stick this applicator into that person's nostril as far up as your fingertips will let you, and push the plunger in. You'll hear the medication spray, and that's just about it for the application. Step number 4, we want to check their breathing and check their pulse. Remember, it's stopping those signals from the brain that tells the lungs to breathe. The naloxone is going to work to reverse that, but in the meantime, we can give this person CPR or rescue breaths as needed. If you are not CPR certified, if you don't know how to give rescue breaths, if you've got 911 on the phone, 911 operators can walk you through how to do both of those things. And step number 5, is it working? Naloxone can take 2 to 3 minutes to start working, which is going to feel like a lifetime. But after 2 minutes, if there is still no improvement, each box of Narcan comes with 2 doses of naloxone. You can take that second dose and administer it the exact same way as the first one, with one difference. If I put it in their right nostril the first time, I'm going to put it into their left nostril for the second dose. The reason for that is, I don't know if maybe they've got a blockage or something going on that's stopping the medication from getting into their system. If you are able to reverse the overdose, you want to put them into the recovery position, kind of laying down on their left side with their hand propping their head up. This is going to protect them in case they get sick. They're not going to breathe it back in. This person's going to be disoriented, so it's something that I like to approach with care and compassion, you know. Hey, you've had a medical event. Can I get you a water? Can I get you a blanket? We'll talk a little bit more about some resources. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe Fagan to tell you about the Crisis Response Unit.
Well, good afternoon. Thanks for inviting us. I am part of a special unit that the Oakland County Sheriff's put together. It comprises of officers, peer people, peer folks like Matt, like Jonathan, who's in recovery, and social workers. And what we do is we respond to substance use and mental health. That's all what we do, and that's how we reach out to people. That number is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week number. You may actually get me if you call that. So if you're in a crisis or looking for direction for resources for either of those, we'd like to be a help for you. How many of you guys have ever heard the Good Samaritan law? Okay, so that was designed in 2016 because we were seeing people that were in crisis in a situation where someone might be overdosing and there was still drugs on the scene and they were afraid to give a call to 911 to get help for that person that literally was dying there. We were seeing people die. So what the Good Samaritan law says is if you're reaching out and you're calling 911 and calling the police to help you, we're going to come, we're going to help save that life, and there's no criminal charges for any substance that might be on scene, paraphernalia or anything else. So that's really important for you guys to not be afraid to call for help. Call 911, we're going to come help you, and nobody's going to get in trouble for saving a life. You guys will be respected, and we hope you help each other.
So here in Oakland County, we've got 105 of these Save-A-Life stations. They're free Narcan stations. I know at the Oakland County Sheriff's substations, both in Independence and Oxford and all over the place, they've got free Narcan. You can walk up to them, grab as much Narcan as you can carry, and we make sure that they stay filled up. I'm going to turn it over to Stacey Anderson with the Clarkston Coalition for Youth for a second.
Hi guys, thanks for having us. Really grateful to be alongside the Alliance and Fentanyl Fathers. My name is Stacey Anderson. I'm the director of Clarkston Coalition for Youth. You guys probably know me as Mia, Kira, Max, and Tessa Zorski's mom. I just wanted to introduce myself. I can be a familiar resource to you. You might have seen us in the marketing class, the senior picnic. I'm going to be working with 8th graders, PBL, next month. So if you need a resource, you need to talk to somebody, need any information, please come find me. I'm all over the place, all right? And One of my main focuses is to be more involved in the school. So you're going to see me around. If you have an idea, if you want to learn more about the coalition, what we do, we focus on mental health, substance abuse awareness. I'm really passionate about being in the schools with the staff and the students and everything. So if you guys have any ideas, want to come help us out, volunteer, and come find me, okay? Thank you for having us.
Hey guys, this is a gal who suffered from anxiety and depression. Statistically, 50% of any student body is suffering from anxiety and depression because they're scrolling 3.5 hours through their phone on stuff they can't control. Next slide. This gal died of an overdose. Her name is Victoria, but she wrote about it in her journal. She didn't even want to tell anybody that she was struggling, so she was struggling alone. So she wrote a diary, and this is the diary. You can see that it's all her own handwriting in this diary. Anybody asking a question, if you get time at the end, I'm going to hand those out for free. But we're going to make them available to the whole school. And I really suggest you use it as an anti-drug book. Go ahead and hit play on this one.
Your reason for joining SAFE may be sitting next to you right now. So if you're interested in helping us spread awareness, please DM us on Instagram or scan this QR code so that we can keep our generation safe.
That gal was so smart, she started SAFE and got a half ride to Michigan. They wouldn't let her in. They said you're behind 30,000 people. She's like, really? You got on your bench saving lives, Einsteins. And she got into Michigan. So if you start a SAFE chapter at your school, it's going to put you a leg up getting into college. You hit them up at fentanylsafe@gmail.com, fentanylsafe.org, or hit them up on Instagram. Brilliant, start a chapter here. What do you do at SAFE? You show people dead on arrival at the bottom of fentanylfathers.org, or you go to the bottom of fentanylfathers.org and you download this free book today. It's called 1001 Great Comebacks of Peer Pressure. It's just not enough anymore to say no to drugs. You need to kick people in the teeth verbally with zingers that make them feel like the moron, the idiot that they are for trying to hijack your future. Go ahead. So we're going to hear from Mike Gillette. I hope to gosh he gives us the full version. I'm going to.
Okay. So we're running a little short on time, and I'm having a difficult day. So I'm not going to talk much about my son, other than to say that I love him very much and I miss him every day. But I do want to leave you with a couple of things. I've done over 100 presentations, and I always pay very close attention to the students in the audience. Are they paying attention? Are they sleeping? Are we connecting with them? And I know one thing for sure, and that's the majority of you in this room are thinking one thing. This is never going to happen to me. I'm way too smart for this. This only happens to other people. I want to tell you a true story about my son. Brian lost a good friend to fentanyl poisoning. He was very taken back by this. He was very upset. And he went to this person's memorial. And when he came home, he was pretty much unapproachable. So my wife and I decided to give him some space. Let him get a good night's sleep. And then we talked to him the next day. So the next day we sat down and we're talking with him about fentanyl and about his friend, and my wife said, Brian, don't let this be your story. Brian looked at us, he goes, this is never going to happen to me. I'm way too smart for this. And then he looked at his mom. He says, Mom, don't worry, I'm Superman. My son was Superman, and he died 10 days later. Nobody in this room is Superman. Nobody in this room is exempt from what this drug can do. I want you to remember that. We've talked a lot about you and how we can prepare you. But I want to talk about some other people. I want to talk about your family. I want to talk about your mom, your dad, brothers, sisters, maybe even somebody sitting in this room that you really care about. My last image of my son was holding his cold, dead body in his bedroom. In the background, all I could hear was the wailing of my wife, screaming as she realized that she just lost her firstborn son. We'll never see him again. I see that image every day. I wake up to it every morning. It will never go away. You have no idea of the pain and the regret and the guilt that we lived with. I couldn't even save my own son. Did I say all the right things to him while he was alive? Did I tell him I love him enough? Well, it's too late for me, but it's not too late for you. So I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to have this discussion with your family at the dinner table. Talk about what you learned today. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. And I want to point out some heroes in this room. I'm always looking for heroes. First of all, your principal is a hero for putting up with my constant badgering. And eventually, it allowed us to come in and speak with you today. But there are 3 students in this school who are my heroes. They took time out of their summer vacation last year to hold a golf outing, to raise money to bring speakers to school, to help you, to educate you. They did this for you. We don't charge for these presentations, but they reached out to me, advocated for me, and that's why we're here today. So I want to find a hero in this room. I want somebody to see someone at a party getting a pillow from somebody. I want you to go to that person and share with them what you learned today. That's how you can be a hero. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. The last slide is where the random speaker asks you to say the rah-rah statement with them. But really, we're not asking you to be cheesy. We're asking you to do it for all of our deceased children and to make sure it never happens to you. If you hear yourself say it, it'll bake in. And it's a simple, I'll never try, so I'll never die from fentanyl. And I'll just do this one line at a time. We'll be done. If there's any questions, first 2 questions get a free book. I'll run it out to the audience, and then I think are we okay on time, boss? Okay. All right, here we go. I'll never try. So I'll never die. From fentanyl. Okay, that means you're fentanyl free and fentanyl certified. I give you the little, you're good, you're baked in, you graduated. So, does anybody have any questions? Okay, we got a question? We got a couple questions? I'm gonna run up the mic. Okay, go ahead. Okay, Jack's running that out of the book. Go ahead.
How many deaths in Oakland County has there been since the epidemic or whatever it's called?
110. So we had, I'm not sure on the exact numbers. I know we lose about 3,000 a year. And I also know that in the calendar year 2024, we had a 37% reduction in overdose fatalities. And the state and the county call that. The state and the county credit that to naloxone distribution and presentations just like this, getting the word out and helping people to know. Mike's telling me that we had 110 deaths of the opioid epidemic. So I appreciate the question.
When was fentanyl first discovered or created?
That's a fantastic question. Fentanyl's been around for a long time. Fentanyl has legitimate medical uses. It is prescribed in the hospital at the nanogram level. So very, very teeny tiny, thousandth of a milligram. The nanogram level is being prescribed. The milligram level, the powder level, it's not prescribed by a doctor. That's when we get into the danger territory.
Guys, before we exit, one of the things that I want to ask you, these gentlemen, we're going to put on another presentation. They will be here after school for a little while. So if you have a question that might be of a personal nature after school, come on down. We've got time before buses. Freshmen, I would like to thank you for coming over, and hopefully we can do this more with you guys. And freshmen, I'd like you guys, hold on, don't leave. Seniors, I'd like you to exit that way, freshmen this way. And folks, let's give a big round of applause for the Fentanyl County. Freshmen this way, seniors that way. Any quick questions? We can come right up.
These banners are all deceased children. All dead teenagers here at the front if you look at them. And Lost Boys for Fentanyl. Yes?
Simon is very sorry for all of us. Very upset. Want a hug? He says he wants to give you a hug. Thank you.
What a good kid. Oh, hi. Yes, I sure do. Yeah. Good to see you. I sure do. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for coming. Do you work at this one now? Oh, you do? Yeah. Oh, you switched schools? I did. Oh, what do you know? I'm following you around. Thanks for coming to it. Oh, it was great. No, thank you. Yeah, we got yet another one. Good kids. No, thank you. Very encouraging. Do you have a card on you? Great. So take your information here, because I'd love to keep in touch with you. Because now you're a regular, and I'm going to turn
I am a regular.
I'm going to turn this off here. Okay, thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. Thank you. And this ends our video. Thank you.